The Stasis Dominion moved through the cosmos not as a fleet, but as an ever-expanding, perfectly still sphere of absolute cessation. It was an ancient, unfathomable entity whose very existence imposed perfect, unbreakable stasis on anything it encompassed. Not destruction, but utter, timeless preservation. All motion, all change, all entropy simply ceased within its grasp. For the Stasis Dominion, movement was chaos, evolution was instability. Its purpose was to halt the universe's relentless flow, to create a realm of flawless, eternal stillness. It had embraced the flow dancers, beings whose lives were a continuous, complex choreography of light and motion. When the Stasis Dominion touched them, their intricate dances froze mid-step, their shimmering forms becoming exquisite, crystalline sculptures, perfectly preserved but utterly lifeless. The chronal architects, a species that manipulated localized time for their sprawling, ever-evolving megastructures, found their grand designs halting, their temporal manipulations locking into a singular, unchangeable moment. Their very essence, born of flux, became a monument to frozen immutability. But then, the Stasis Dominion turned its silent advance towards a peculiar, endlessly fidgeting and utterly impatient species: humanity. On the human deep space drilling platform, Restless Core, nestled in the Vortex cluster, Chief Engineer Jackson Kincaid felt a strange, heavy tranquility settle over him. His constantly twitching fingers, usually drumming a restless rhythm on the console, went still. The frantic blinking of indicator lights on the drill itself seemed to slow, then freeze, the data stream flatlining into an unmoving image. Commander Alani, his junior engineer Sierra Valois, stated, her voice unnaturally even. She usually spoke with a rapid-fire urgency. The drills ceased, not a mechanical failure, just stopped. All systems reporting zero kinetic energy, zero heat transfer, even the quantum fluctuations are flatlining. Jackson felt the oppressive stillness. The platform's rhythmic thrumming, the distant hiss of vents, the creak of stressed metal, all were fading, becoming an impossibly quiet, unnerving hush. His urge to fix, to move, to even think a rapid thought was dissolving into profound, unwavering peace. The Stasis Dominion intensified its field. It expected human systems to simply lock, human consciousness to fall into quiescent stillness. But humanity was different. Humanity had a profound, often self-defeating, capacity for frantic, unnecessary movement. For fidgeting when bored, pacing when anxious, tapping when thinking. For an inherent, almost compulsive need for restless energy. As the Stasis Dominion field tightened, instead of succumbing to stillness, human minds, when forced towards absolute inaction, began to generate internal chaos. Jackson, feeling the creeping paralysis, found a deep, primal urge to fidget. His fingers, though outwardly frozen, began to mentally tap out complex rhythms. His thoughts, though outwardly calm, began to race at impossible speeds, generating internal, uncontainable turbulence. Sierra, feeling her body lock, found her eyes darting, almost uncontrollably, behind her unmoving eyelids, cataloging every minuscule flaw in the distant stars, her mind a frantic blur of calculations. "It's not stopping us," Sierra suddenly whispered, a raw urgency in her frozen voice. "Their field is making us more chaotic inside. It's like a paradoxical acceleration." Jackson, feeling a jolt of his old, familiar restlessness return, albeit trapped within his unmoving form, mentally snarled. "We're too restless for peace, kid. We find comfort in constant, infuriating motion." Humans began to weaponize their inherent restlessness. Commanders, feeling the stasis, ordered their crews to perform incredibly complex, mentally simulated drills at impossible speeds. Scientists, battling intellectual paralysis, engaged in internal, lightning-fast thought experiments involving constantly shifting variables. Pilots, unable to move their ships, would mentally fly through abstract, ever-changing gravitational fields. Every human act of mental pacing, every imagined tap, every internal tremor, rather than being stilled by the Dominion, began to radiate as a unique, chaotic, and unstillable internal energy. They were generating a vortex of mental activity, a wall of glorious, uncontainable, and utterly unfreezable turbulence. The stasis Dominion, designed to halt all motion and absorb stillness, found itself facing an active generation of internal, intangible kinetic energy. Its methods, optimized for universal quietude, were useless against a species that spontaneously generated the very thing it sought to eliminate. Its attempts to force a human mind into absolute peace only made that mind accelerate into a maelstrom of uncontainable thoughts. Its efforts to impose stillness only made human consciousness race faster, forcing the Dominion to absorb a chaos that strengthened with every attempt to quell it. It was a cosmic paradox. The ultimate stillness met the ultimate, relentless mental motion. The stasis Dominion did not shriek or collapse. It simply faltered. Its perfectly still sphere began to subtly ripple to show internal, chaotic tremors. It was overloaded by generated kinetic intent, by willed into being internal turbulence. Its quieting waves, accustomed to expanding unopposed, found themselves meeting a wall of spontaneously generated, conflicting mental energies. It could not still what was constantly being reasserted and redefined by an act of sheer illogical will. The stasis Dominion shifted course. Its immense, still form pulled back from human space, leaving behind a sector still echoing with faint, unsettling quiet, but defiantly vibrating with the restless, vital energy of human minds. It classified humanity as inertia anomaly, self-generating kinesis. It simply moved on, seeking quieter, more complaisant sectors of the galaxy. The cosmic pressure lifted. The galaxy, though still affected by the Dominion's chilling calm, now hummed with the messy, vital energy of human fidgeting, constantly being thought, rethought, and acted upon. Jackson's fingers, released from stasis, immediately began to drum a complex, frantic rhythm on the console. Sierra, her physical urgency returned, began to rapidly check every dial, every readout all at once. "They didn't defeat us," Sierra said, her words a rapid-fire torrent. "We just gave them an internal headache they couldn't static." Jackson nodded, his leg bouncing nervously. "Turns out, our inability to sit still was our best defense. Who knew our deepest anxieties were our greatest strengths? Humanity was safe, but the cost was subtle." The galaxy now viewed humanity as the restless engines, forever seen as a species whose very existence was a constant, internal maelstrom of activity. Other species, while safe from forced stillness, often kept their distance, finding humanity's capacity for endless mental agitation baffling and sometimes exhausting. Humans, in turn, found themselves grappling with a heightened awareness of their own powerful, if irritating, ability to generate internal motion, sometimes struggling to find peace amidst their own minds' constant activity, forever defined by their stubborn refusal to ever truly be still. "So what now, Sierra?" Jackson asked, already mentally planning out 1,000 future tasks. Sierra grinned, her eyes bright with uncontainable energy. Now we figure out how to harness this internal chaos. And then we never, ever stop."